At 12 years old, a pregnancy outside of marriage in Nazareth was punishable by stoning. That was
We should
the
return
law.
home before it gets too
That
dark.
was the risk.
Come along now,
And
quickly.
it was exactly in that scenario that God chose a girl, not a queen, not a priestess, not a woman of means, to carry in her womb what the entire world still
What is
could
the
not
meaning of
comprehend.
these events?
Nazareth, 1st century.
I do not
A city
understand.
so small and so politically irrelevant that Nathanael himself, upon hearing of it, asked, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" The population estimated by archaeologists hovers around 400 inhabitants. No temple, no significant market, no power. And it was there, on that edge of the map, that the angel Gabriel appeared to a girl promised in marriage to a man named Joseph. The word the angel used was kecharitomene, that in the original Greek of the Gospel of Luke. There is no perfect translation. Most versions say full of grace or highly favored, but the verbal construction indicates a permanent state, not a one-time event. Mary had not just received favor. She lived in it. She inhabited it. She was made of it. And here is the first fact that needs to be said out loud. She did not understand immediately. Luke 1:29 records that she was troubled by the greeting and began to reason about what those words meant. A 12-year-old girl, in silence, trying to process a sentence without precedent in human history. That is not a minor detail. It is the first documented behavior of Mary in the face of the impossible. She stopped. She thought. She did not scream.
I will
She
do
did
as
not
you
run.
ask, though I
She
am
stayed.
unworthy.
And asked. Her question to the angel was precise,
really believe
objective,
this is the way?
almost technical. How
It
will
is the
this
only
be,
way.
since I have not known a man? It was not a spiritual doubt. It was a logistical question. Mary wanted to understand the mechanism, not the promise. And that, from a behavioral standpoint, is exactly what separates a high-value woman from a woman who merely reacts to circumstances. She asked for information before giving her consent. After the angel answered, she said, "Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word." In English, it sounds gentle. In historical context, it was a declaration of calculated risk. She knew what that sentence implied. She knew Joseph could abandon her. She knew the town could condemn her. She knew that an inexplicable pregnancy, in that time and that place, could cost her her life. And she said yes anyway. That is what Ephesians 2:10 calls God's handiwork, created for good works that were prepared in advance. Mary was not chosen despite her human fragility. She was chosen precisely because there was something within her internal structure that God Himself had prepared for that specific moment. The verse does not say, "You need to be ready." It says the work was prepared before you. If you want to keep learning about women who carried purposes larger than what the world thought they were capable of, subscribe to the channel and like this video. But let's go back to Nazareth, because what happened immediately after Mary's yes reveals a behavioral strategy worth more than any modern advice on feminine positioning. She went to visit Elizabeth. Elizabeth was her cousin, pregnant with John the Baptist, living in the mountains of Judea, more than 60 miles from Nazareth, on foot, over steep terrain, a journey of 3 to 4 days. Archaeologists and historians place the location at Ein Kerem, on the outskirts of Jerusalem. Mary did not wait for someone to come to her. She did not stay in Nazareth, processing in isolation the most extraudinary news any
Blessed are you
human
among
being
women,
had
and blessed
ever
is the child
received.
you will bear.
She
Why
went
am
to
I so
someone
favored
who
that the mother
understood,
of my Lord should come
to
to me?
someone who was also carrying the impossible. The meeting between the two is documented in Luke 1 with physical and verifiable detail. When Mary entered the house and greeted Elizabeth, the baby in Elizabeth's womb leaped, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Spirit. Two babies, two wombs, two destinies
Blessed
that
are
recognized
you,
each
and
other
blessed is
before
the
breathing
fruit
the
of your
same
womb.
air.
And who am
Mary
I
stayed
that
with
the mother
Elizabeth for 3 months. Here is the contemporary mirror. Elizabeth was the equivalent of a
of
high-level
God's mercy
mastermind.
rests with us.
Not metaphorically,
Yes, God's grace is
mechanically.
upon me.
She was an older woman with life experience Mary did not have, living
Blessed
an
are you
analogous
among
situation,
women,
capable of
blessed is the
naming
fruit
what
of
was
your womb.
happening when Mary was still trying to find the words. Mary went to seek active mentorship at the most delicate and most loaded moment of her life. She did not wait for mentorship to come to her. She walked 4 days to reach it. There is an archaeological fact about Nazareth that rarely appears in popular religious texts. Excavations conducted from 2009 onward by archaeologists from the Israel Antiquities Authority revealed that the town where Mary lived was made up of limestone houses with a single central room, no windows, with light coming exclusively from the entrance. No privacy, no isolation. Everything was seen, heard, and commented on by 400 neighbors. A pregnancy in that environment was not a personal matter. It was a communal event, immediate and relentless. Mary could not hide it. She had to hold, and she held in the only way that works when you are carrying something no one around you is yet capable of understanding. She moved close to someone who understood, and after 3 months, she returned to Nazareth. The Magnificat, the hymn Mary sang when she arrived at Elizabeth's house, is one of the most politically dense texts in the New Testament. Recorded in Luke 1:1-55, it speaks of rulers brought down from their thrones, of the rich sent away empty, of the humble lifted up. It was written or sung by a 12-year-old girl from a town of 400 people. Theologians and biblical literature historians classify it as social prophecy. Mary was not merely celebrating. She was declaring a reordering of the world into which she herself had just been inserted as a central piece. If you want to understand how women who carried a purpose larger than their environment could see position themselves throughout history, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. What no one calculates when reading the story of Jesus' birth is the interval. Between Mary's Yeshtu and the birth of Jesus, there were 9 months. 9 months in which she lived in Nazareth, with her belly growing, with no supernatural explanation visible to anyone around her. Joseph wanted to divorce her quietly. Matthews 1:1-19 records this. He did not believe. No one believed. She carried the greatest proof in human history inside her own body and had no way to show it to anyone. That is the interval between the calling and the manifestation, between the revealed purpose and the recognized purpose. And Mary crossed that interval without breaking, not because there was no pressure, because there was something greater than the pressure. Ephesians 2:10 does not say that good works are easy. It says they were prepared in advance. Which means that when you arrived at the moment, the ground was already ready, even if you cannot yet see the ground. But there is a scene that took place when Jesus was 12 years old, the same age Mary was when the angel appeared. That reveals a side of Mary that the traditional narrative tends to soften far too much. That is exactly what comes next.